You're watching ChillyBoy Productions. I'm Larry ChillyBoy Chilson, and this is my review for Abigail. Now, before we get into this review, make sure to go ahead and click that subscribe button down below so that you can chill with me on each and every one of my latest videos. Abigail is a 2024 horror film directed by the iconic horror directing duo Radio Silence. A group of criminals kidnaps a 12-year-old ballerina who happens to be the daughter of a very powerful figure. Holding her for ransom in an isolated mansion, their plan starts to unravel when they discover their young captive is more than meets the eye. The film stars Melissa Barrera, Dan Stevens, Angus Cloud, Giancarlo Esposito, Catherine Newton, and Alicia Ware. So I loved the trailer for Abigail. I have been so excited to see this film ever since I heard about this film. You give me a slightly campy horror comedy type of vibe from Radio Silence, who balances that kind of fun tone so well in their horror films. Yeah, I'm excited. Not to mention my full support for Melissa Barrera and what is happening in her post-Scream career. Yeah, I was gonna be there to support Abigail, support Melissa, and check out a film I was just generally really hyped for. And that's why I'm so glad that I had a blast with Abigail. So, let's go ahead and talk about the positives first. Well, Radio Silence does it once again. Their brand of fun horror is right up my alley. It's not quite horror comedy, but it dabbles in the atmosphere of camp. It dabbles in just being effervescent and fun, having a good time in the bloody gore of it all. And much like their other films, this one gets really bloody. So for the pure gore aspect of it all, it definitely qualifies in that horror realm. We're dealing with a vampire running rampant on this group of people, but they never forget to have a good time with it. And our actors also bring the good time. Alicia Ware as Abigail is the highlight for me. She was the star of this film, a complete commanding presence. It is her performance that really cements Abigail as this new horror icon. Her physical performance is fantastic. I really loved her transformation. I just thought she sold it so well. Plus, I actually really enjoy the journey we go on with Miss Abigail, if you will, and how that is all realized. Melissa Barrera is also fantastic in this film. I think she just shines with Radio Silence in the horror genre. I thought she was very good in both of her Scream film appearances, particularly in 6. I thought she was very, very good, and I think she's very, very good here once more. And then Dan Stevens, oh, he is going to turn it on if there is a camera anywhere in his vicinity, and he does so once more. He's skeezy, he's gross, he's grimy, and it is delicious to watch. And much like Melissa Barrera, I think Catherine Newton once again shows she's best in this kind of horror atmosphere, a fun horror movie. Because every time she gets to be in one of these type of films, I think she's great, and she does a good job here. There's one scene where she really gets to chew up the scenery. Other than that, she doesn't get quite as much, but I enjoyed her interpretation of this sneaky kind of character. And of course, RIP to Angus Cloud. I love that this was dedicated to him, and we got a small memoriam for him in the credits. And I have to say, particularly that third act, I love. That third act really kind of goes balls to the wall, and it's all the better for it. And the music is freaking great as well. The original score, blended obviously with Swan Lake, is fantastic with other classic songs. The music all around is just wonderful. So then, what doesn't work so well when it comes to Abigail? Well, I have to say, I do think it is a little bit misguided in the pacing. And I say that because when you're walking into the movie theater, the trailers give you the premise. But when you walk into the film, the first act treats the premise as a mystery. Like it's some big reveal, like we don't already know who the real villain of the movie is. I'm trying to be vague in my own review just because of how the movie portrays it, but honestly, if you've seen the posters, if you've seen a trailer, you know what we're in for, and the film delivers that in the second and third acts. The first act really tries to set this up as almost a horror thriller mystery, if you will. There's a bunch of puzzle pieces, and it's kind of weird to watch that when you have the puzzle fully completed walking in. I also think the screenplay itself is just okay. Joey definitely gets the most actual character here, other than maybe Abigail, who actually does get character underneath all of the madness. But everybody else really did not feel like an actual human being. They all felt like stand-ins, vampire food, if you will. And the interactions, when it came between Abigail and our merry little gang of criminals, was a lot of fun. And their banter back and forth was actually great. However, when it was just like bantering amongst the rat pack, if you will, not as great, not as memorable. So overall, I really enjoyed Abigail. I thought this was a lot of fun. And it will be even more fun, I think, if you have managed to avoid the marketing for the film and can go in literally blind. Because if you've seen one piece of marketing, that first act is kind of like, what are we doing? Otherwise, Alicia Ware is our new horror icon of 2024. Melissa Barrera cements herself in the horror girlies pantheon. And Radio Silence delivers yet another bloody fun time at the movie theater. So if you're a horror fan, I think you definitely need to check out Abigail. So that was my review for Abigail. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, go ahead, click like down below and subscribe to the channel so that you are always up to date on all of my latest videos. Also, join in on the discussion. Are you excited to see Abigail, or have you already checked it out? Let me know all of your thoughts either in the comment section down below, or you can hit me up on Twitter. I love you all so much for your continued support. Mwah! Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye.